Rogers Studio for another edition of Attack Wrap. Zach Scribner and Adrien Mouseeau. Please be joined alongside Ethan Burroughs and Matthew Papais. First time having Matthew in Rogers TV Studio since being acquired from the Owen Sound Attack. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
We have a lot to go over. It's another busy week around the Ontario Hockey League. Let's start out with the OHL Player and Goaltender of the Week. Both of those players coming from the London Knights. Sean McGurn is the OHL Player of the Week, leading all players with 13 points, including 5 goals and 8 assists in 4 games, along with a plus-minus rating of +8. McGurn helped the Knights extend their current win streak to 8 games, producing 4 consecutive multi-point outings last week. That includes a 3-goal and 3-assist performance for a career-high 6 points and a 9-5 win versus the Flint Firebirds. And London Knights rookie netminder Zach Bowen is the OHL Goaltender of the Week, playing to a 3-0 record with a 2.7 goals against average and a .920 save percentage. Following an abbreviated start in a game the Knights would go on to win Monday versus Flint, Bowen struck together 3 straight victories to extend his current run of wins to 13 consecutive wins for the London Knights. Nolan Seed is the Owen Sound Attack's Player of the Week. He appeared in his 200th OHL contest during the Attack's home game Saturday night. The overage defenseman collected 4 assists over the Bears' 3 games this past week, including a pair in Saturday's 4-2 loss to the Flint Firebirds. Let's now take a look at the OHL standings, starting off in the Western Conference. The London Knights are just 1 point behind Windsor. They have an opportunity to take the top spot with a victory over the Kitchener Rangers tonight at the Odd. The Sarnia Sting are third, 1 point ahead of Owen Sound. Sarnia is home to Guelph tomorrow. The Saginaw Spirit make their lone trip to the Bayshore this Saturday. They're just 2 points behind Owen Sound. Saginaw's 2-7-0-1 in their last 10. The Guelph Storm are 6, just 1 point ahead of Flint. The Kitchener Rangers sit 8th in the Western Conference. They recently fired their head coach and Chris Dennis. They hold the last spot 3 points ahead of the Sioux Greyhounds, and Erie are last in the conference with 37 points. To the Eastern Conference, the Ottawa 67s continue to lead the way, 4 points ahead of North Bay. The Barrie Colts sit comfortably in third with 64 points. The Mississauga Steelheads are fourth, 1 point ahead of the struggling Peterborough Petes, who loaded up at the deadline. Peterborough is 3-7 in their last 10 games. Hamilton sits in 6th place, 1 point ahead of Kingston. The Sudbury Wolves hold the last playoff spot, but they're just 1 point ahead of the Oshawa Generals. And the Niagara Ice Dogs picked up their 10th win of the season Sunday, their last with 27 points. To the top 10 in OHL scoring, Matthew Mouseeau leads the way with 84 points. Mouseeau had a 5-point week but was held pointless for just the 7th time this season, Sunday versus Saginaw. Matvei Petrov is second in league scoring, but the gap from 2nd to 6th is only 4 points. Morrison's third with 75. Ty Voigt, who led the scoring for the most of the year, is 4th with 74 points. Amadeus Lombardi sits 5th. He extended his personal point streak to 10 games Saturday. Lombardi has 9 goals and 11 assists during that streak. Tucker Robertson is 6th in league scoring with 72 points. 3 ahead of Mississauga captain James Hardy. Sasha Passagov, Kyle Jackson, and Sean McGurn round out the top 10. They each have 68 points this year. Let's now take a look at Owen Sound's top 10 in scoring. Colby Barlow falls out of the top 10 in the Ontario Hockey League scoring, but he leads the team in scoring with 67 points. Cedric Gaindon was second in team scoring, just 4 points ahead of Denny Gour. Ethan Burroughs sits 4th with 44 points, 1 ahead of defenseman Sam Sedley. Good to see Servac Petrovsky return to Saturday night's game. He's 6th with 41 points. Caleb Lawrence had 2 goals and 2 assists this past week for Owen Sound. He's 7th with 34 points. Guest of the show, Matthew Papais, is 8th with 27, 1 point ahead of Gavin Bryan and Nolan Seed, who round out the top 10, each scoring 26 points.
Now, guys, welcome to the show. Big news on the weekend, however, was Super Bowl. Did you guys take that in?
Yeah, we had a little team gathering there, and it was a pretty cool game. It was
pretty entertaining, man.
Yeah.
Who'd you guys have going into the weekend?
I thought Casey was going to win. Obviously, it was a bit tight, but yeah.
Yourself, man?
I got no clue about football. I only watched one game all year. I didn't even know who was in the finals.
Fair enough.
It was good to get along with the boys, and all the guys were pretty into it, so it was pretty fun.
Now we're going to go back a few weekends, and it was Hockey Day in Canada. And you had a pretty cool story. I don't know how it came up, but it was been talked about many of times. You and Ron McLean have some ties. Some want to tell the viewers at home.
Yeah, so I'm related. I'm cousins with Brad Richards, former NHL player, and then him and Ron kind of know each other. And Ron would come over to my aunt's house a few times, and so I kind of met him there.
Oh, so getting to connect with him on the ice during the warm-ups was pretty cool for you guys. How'd you guys take that whole experience in of Ron McLean, Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada, or Hockey Day in Canada, rather, being in Owen Sound, and he took you guys onto the ice for warm-ups. How cool was that, both of you guys?
Me personally, I remember last year, Guelph, when I was playing for Guelph, we were supposed to play Hockey Day in Canada here last year on January 29th, which was my birthday. So everyone was looking forward to it. They thought it was going to be pretty cool, but just to be traded here and find out how special that week was, and like it was unbelievable. Ron McLean was on the ice with us during warm-ups and doing interviews. Like I've never seen anything like it. So it was a fun time.
Yeah, it was a great time. He's pretty much covered most of it. Like just to have that experience, like with Ron, a bunch of other stars, and just to see like how like the community all came together, it was super cool.
I think one of the things that I enjoyed about it most was like when you guys first got onto the ice and then you take shots on Corbin as he's getting, Ron goes right behind and he's just like, this is what Ethan's just working out the hands. He's just doing all the motions. Ron's the best of the best for a reason.
Matthew, first time, like I mentioned, having you on since being traded to Owen Sound. Simply, how have you enjoyed your time here in Owen Sound?
It's different for sure because I'm used to played in Guelph and Niagara, which are pretty big cities, university cities, and so it was like different in adapting to the environment. It's more of like a country town, but like coming here and seeing how big of a hockey city it truly is was like special, and it's funny because when you're in Owen Sound, it's only hockey and you're dialed in on hockey, so every guy on the team takes it super serious, like I've never seen before, and we just want to win, so it's good to be here for my last season.
Go ahead.
Now we just looked at the standings there, and the team that you came from just got their 10th win of the year, and you guys are standing fourth in the conference. It must be a huge relief and an honor to be a part of a winning culture.
Yeah, not to bash Niagara, but it would have been terrible being there for the rest of the season. It's my last year, and I want to win, so being on a team with so much talent is incredible, and I'm honored to be traded here and play the rest of it out with Attack.
Now, you played 6 games with Niagara. Were you expecting to be moved so early on in the season?
I wasn't expecting it, no. It kind of just got called in one day and it happened, but it's for the best, so.
And I can tell you fans in Owen Sound are definitely excited to have you because last year with Guelph, you put up 5 goals and 5 assists against the Owen Sound Attack with the Guelph Storm. So we're definitely happy to have you here on the other side of it. What do you remember about just going up against the Attack last year? Was that COVID season where you're playing these guys 10 to 12 times?
I remember at the beginning of the season, I think we had the better hand over Owen Sound, and we gave them a beating a couple times. But just as the year went on, like Owen Sound got so much better, and their group, they really had it all. They had a lot of young skill. They were physical, and they became hard to play against. And it was always a little rival between us. So
just to pump your tires a little bit, I remember as broadcasters last year, we were like, Papais is a thorn in our side, and he's getting it. And then we acquired you, and we're like, that's exactly what we need this year. So nice. It's been a great addition to the team having you here. And the next question, Ethan's for you, and I kind of hate how this is worded, but I'm going to ask it anyways. You haven't missed a game in 2 seasons, and so you have the longest Ironman streak on the team so far. But how do you keep yourself so healthy?
I think it's just doing a lot of the right things. Like I stretch a lot, just try to keep everything mobile and recover well, and I found that just doing the right things has helped me a lot.
Do you go into the gym at all during the week? Are you hitting that more often? Because I know you guys are on the ice every day, so that takes a wear and tear. Just practicing, let alone games. Are you getting in there strengthening the muscles as well? Yeah,
definitely. It's been a bit tougher with our past schedule. Obviously, we have a bit of break this week, so we get to get in a little more. But yeah, like I just try to keep up my strength and conditioning throughout the entire year. Like you don't want to lose muscle, and you gotta just try to maintain that, and that I find helps with injury prevention as well.
Now, coming over to the Owen Sound Attack so early on in the season, was it a bit of a struggle at first for yourself, Matthew, just getting adjusted to new systems and structures here in Owen Sound?
Not really, no. I mean, in Niagara, they're pretty loose, so you get to do whatever you want, but I was only in Niagara for a couple months, and in Guelph, I find the systems are pretty similar to what Wally does here, so adapting was pretty easy, and the guys are all super welcoming, so it was easy to break into the locker room.
Now, we had to look at the standings earlier on in the show. Is this the time of the year where you guys really start to watch those scoreboards a lot closer throughout the league?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we kind of do it throughout the entire year no matter what, but obviously when it comes down to these last 17, 18 games, you watch a little bit tighter.
I'm not going to ask you a question, but I remember last year we asked Dunigo who we wanted to play in the playoffs, and he actually said it, but we were doing interviews online, so his internet cut out. So that was Dale DeGray cutting his internet cables there. We didn't want to hear it, so I found out we can't ask that. No, but we're going to throw it back to January 27th. Do you remember that day, Matthew?
No.
This year?
No, I don't.
You fought Cooper Walker.
Yeah.
What came about? I hear you guys are actually really good friends off the ice, but what came about? You just tossed the mitts and went at it with the overage forward and the captain of the Gulf Storm.
I mean, he gave me a shot to the head right before. Like, I was flying in the zone. I made a play over to Surback, and he was pretty much all alone with the goalie. And I got rocked right in the head, so I guess I was a little heated in the moment. So I went up to him. I gave him a couple shots. I asked him to go. Initially, he said no. And the next thing you know, his gloves are off and he's swinging. So it was a good fight with him.
Did you guys text each other after the game? No. Leave it on the ice.
But we shook hands on the ice and we talked a bit in the box. So
okay.
I mean, that counts.
Yeah.
It was a busy week last week for the Owen Sound Attack. 3 games in just a short span of days. Let's go to the first set of games. The Owen Sound Attack hosting the Niagara Ice Dogs last Wednesday.
Just a few goals scored, eh?
Just a few.
Tails Jordan has some room to step in, drops it. Seed lets it go in front, they score! Tails Jordan right there to deflect it home. His first of the season, and it's 1-0 Owen Sound. Gotta pace yourself, no doubt about it. Here's James Petrosky, the D-man down low for Caleb Lawrence, he scores! Hard pass out. Denny Gore cuts across the blue line, splits through the middle, gets a shot off, and he scores! Denny Gore goes right through them, and he makes it 3-0. I'd have to say, if you haven't seen Colby Barlow mic'd up, stick around. Here's a pass in front, they score! Landon Hookey on top of the crease is able to get a stick on it. He is feeling it here tonight, is Tails Jordan. Spins his shot, but it goes wide of the net. Thomas Chafe tries to spin one as well. Terracini on the wraparound. Stewart on the backhand. Save is made. Scores! These teams actually had a Monday night game. There's a shot and scores. Just inside the far post, Andrew LeBlanc gets the Ice Dogs on the board. Gore on the rebound is stopped. Scoops it back up behind the net with it. He tries to go out in front. Still with control. Burroughs, a shot, he scores! It, and it was blocked, trying to follow it up on a wraparound. He still has control. Dishes out to the blue line. Wysick with a shot, he scores! Point shot off the post and in as the quickly back in for Gainton as Owen Sound gets set up. Burroughs stepping in with a shot, he scores! Second of the game for Ethan Burroughs. There's a power play goal. Now Mouseeau with some speed. Waddick across. LeBlanc a shot, he scores! It's a 3-point night for Andrew LeBlanc. He's got 2 goals. Jesus guarding him. Barlow drags, gets it back. Gainton, shot, he scores! Cedric Gainton goes roof as Sedley slides over the blue line. Gore for Papais. Papais in front, Terracini over to Gore, he scores! And that's gonna do it. On this Wednesday night, the Owen Sound Attack are gonna triple up the Niagara Ice Dogs. It's a 9-3 win for the Bears. Contribution.
I'll be saying 9-3 wins, the most goals you guys scored in a game this season. You had 2 yourself. My first question is, there was only one player on the Owen Sound Attack that didn't get a point that game. Do you know who it is?
Excluding goals.
Yeah, I was going to say 2. Corbin didn't get an assist either.
Forward or D?
I don't know, actually.
It's a defenseman.
Steiner?
No.
No, I know you got one.
Did he?
This player made an impact on the game, however.
Oh, Teddy.
Yeah, so Teddy Sawyer, the only one I was talking with, I was doing my interview with Cedric in the third, and there was 3 guys, and then finished with only 1 guy. and it was Teddy Sawyer, but he made his way on the score sheet in different fashion that game.
So Adrien mentioned 2 goals and 10 shots on goal versus Niagara that game. What led, do you think, to your offensive explosion versus the Ice Dogs that night?
I don't know. I think it was just getting shots on net. I joined up with Denny and Lawrence on that line, and I found we kind of just clicked, and I think things were just rolling for us.
Talking about that line, you guys get put together at random times, and it seems to be like when we're in a tough stretch, Greg Walters just goes with the 0-3, I call it the 0-3 line, put the 0-3 line back together, and it seems to work magic. Is it just you guys have been friends for so long that stuff clicks and you guys have been practicing together?
Yeah, I think it's just over time you kind of just we've been together for 4 years now, so I think it just kind of things start to click, and it's great playing with those guys. They're great players, so I think just things always click.
Final question for you, Matthew, on that one. The game before, you guys have that lopsided loss to the Windsor Spitfires, a really big bounce-back game versus the Niagara Ice Dogs. What did you make of your team's performance overall that night?
The game against Windsor.
The game against Niagara.
Well, we started early in the season. We had a problem. Our starts were not very good, and I feel like no one was happy with the outcome of the previous game. We lost pretty bad, so everyone wanted to come out and just win. And we know Niagara's at the bottom of the standings, and we didn't take them lightly. Right off the hop, we wanted to get after them and get on top of them and play a full 60 minutes, and I think we did pretty well.
Prior to this season, your point total, highest point total was 51 points. You're 7 away from that already, Ethan. Now, what were some of your personal goals going into this season? Did you want to eclipse that mark?
Yeah, obviously I just kind of want to keep improving on from last season with the points and stuff, but that's just kind of a little part of it. You obviously want to do other things right, and I just kind of wanted to keep improving on and just try to build my game overall from last season.
Now, you're one of the better goal scorers, pure goal scorers on the team, I would say. And at the start of the year, you're going through maybe a slump, or you weren't scoring as much as you are right now. You're on a heater as of late. What has been the key to success as of late for your scoring touch?
I think it's just having confidence and just, you can't get too down on yourself. Obviously, you just got to put in extra work to try and tweak little things that might be wrong in your game. And I think just having confidence and not putting too much pressure on yourself kind of has helped me.
Now, Matthew, for you, you've scored some highlight reel goals this year. There's a few that come to mind right off the top of my head. What's the one that, for you, your highlight of the year so far?
Probably Barry.
Yeah, I was going to say that one was
pretty cool. The one for me is the one against the Sioux, as well as you dance the defender. So when you have to pick between 2 highlight reel goals, you're having a good year.
You almost injured yourself on the celly, too.
Yeah, I did. I know. I did injure myself.
Oh, yeah, jumping in the glass.
Cool. I jumped in the glass, I fell, messed up my shoulder, and went right off the ice.
Like I mentioned, the Owen Sound Attack, it was a busy week. Friday night, they made their lone visit to Mississauga to take on the Steelheads.
Steelheads, though, good pursuit, intercepted in the neutral zone. Here's Misa in on the left side, plays down to Hardy. Sharp angle shot, scores! It sneaks through Chenard, and James Hardy has got that goal-scoring touch back to last night, and he's on the board in the first period. 1-0 Steelheads.
And he leads the franchise in shots on goal, and that's how he's scoring all his goals. He uses that shot. He had 3 shot attempts on that last power play alone. This one, a great zone entry from Luke Misa.
On a close play, Vecchia with a half step away from being home free. Gendon through the neutral zone with good speed, in over the line, comes to the net. Penner centering pass, and they score, and it's Barlow cashing in for number 37 on the season. At the point, James Hardy on the left, again the 5 forwards. Angus McDonnell scores, and the new strategy pays off as Angus McDonnell rips it top corner, a power play goal, and the Steelheads lead again. It's 2-1.
Well, the first time around, they didn't respect the shot of James Hardy. This time, they don't respect the pass. It's a great move by Hardy, who looks towards the goal, and he fakes the shot. He dishes off to Angus McDonnell, who just gets free in the slot, and he
sent down to the ice. Play continues. Van Volsen follows up. Chance in front. Rebound loose. It's in the back of the net. Kai Schwidt, the last to touch it. And it's a power play goal again for the Steelheads. It's 3-1.
And 2 more assists for Porter Martone and Jack Van Volsen. Kai Schwidt, what a creative play. I think like he was watching World Cup replays because he kicked that puck on goal and then he followed up with his stick and put it in. So yes, it is a good...
By Angus McDonnell. McDonnell, though, can't clear. Comes in front. Leadner's down, and they score. It's a one-goal hockey game as finally the Owen Sound attack gets something off the forecheck.
Late comeback push unsuccessful for the Owen Sound attack Friday night, falling to the Mississauga Steelheads by a score of 3-2. Guys, Mississauga was a team that trades basically their studs at the trade deadline, and they go with the rebuilding route. What's the approach when you go up against such a young team Friday night against Mississauga?
I think you're just trying to stick to our game plan. We know that obviously they traded away their guys. They're still young, they're still talented, and I think it was just trying to stick to our plan. I think we turned too many pucks over, and that kind of ended up.
Matthew, reflecting on your time in the Ontario Hockey League, you mentioned you're an overage player. What are some favorite memories of yours that stand out throughout your time here in the Ontario Hockey League?
Well, right from the beginning, I signed probably halfway through my 16-year-old year. I was playing for Brantford Junior A, and I signed with Guelph, and their team was stacked with Suzuki and all those guys the year that they won. So I was called up for 12 games that year and practiced a bunch with them. And just like being involved in such a successful group, it just created so many memories, and everyone was so welcoming, especially as a call-up, you're a 16-year-old kid and you're pretty scared, and they're all welcoming. And every time we stepped on the ice, they worked and they were skilled, and I learned so much. And just to see the resilience they had in the playoffs, them going on to win it, was pretty special. And I remember playing with those players for the rest of my life.
What might be one of the things that you took from that time? You're there with Nick Suzuki, Sean Dursey, Isaac Ratcliffe, the list goes on and off. There's NHLers on that team right now. What was one of the few things that you took from maybe practice habits or whatnot?
One thing I noticed is with that team, everyone was making sure their body was well maintenance. They were always stretching, always working out. They were a tight group. They didn't go out much. They were focused on playing hockey and winning, and that's what they did.
Now, in that playoff series, if I'm correct, they were down 3-0 at one point, and then 3-1 at another point, and they climbed back. Was there at any point, you're around the team at that point, was there any point where they're like, oh, this is the end of the road, or were they always so confident?
No, they were always confident. They just didn't want to see. They knew the talent that they had in their group, and they knew that they could win it. And although they were down, they knew it wasn't over, and they were going to keep fighting until the series was done. So
fast forward now to this season, if something like that happens in the playoffs, are you going to be one person to step up in the dressing room and address, like, hey, we're a good, skilled team, we can pot goals no matter what, we just need to get back to our system? For sure, and it's truly never over until it's over, so packing it in just because you're down 3-0 in the series isn't the best idea. So just to reflect on that playoff run there, everyone, I feel like, could resonate and be like, we can do this, and look at the skill in our locker room and our staff, and feel like we all need to believe in ourselves, and we can just keep going.
It's never over in junior hockey, especially. There's some wild games, including in the playoffs. Speaking of the Owen Sound Attack, 50 games completed, 18 to go before the first round of the Ontario Hockey League playoffs. What are you guys working on individually to be set come round one of the OHL playoffs this year?
I think it's just trying to stay healthy. You don't really want to go into the playoffs with injuries and little things like that. And I think it's just doing that and just prepping mentally. It is a battle, so you just want to prep for that.
For yourself, Matthew, what are you working on aspects of your own game?
Yeah, just staying healthy and keep on bonding closer with the guys, because group bonding is a huge thing, and trusting each other and trusting your teammates, and hopefully end the season off with a few big wins for some confidence going into the playoffs.
Speaking of the playoffs, the Owen Sound Attack met the Flint Firebirds in the first round of last year's playoffs. They were at the Bayshore Saturday night to end off their season series.
Tristan Bertucci, mid-blue line. Over to Braden Kressler. Bertucci doesn't pull the trigger. Firing is Lombardi, and he scores. A one-time shot. Piercy was on top of George. Stick handling through is Caden Petrie. Petrie knocked down. Long shot on goal. Rebound, scores. Slavacek in the perfect spot to put that rebound home, and the Firebirds are now up 2-0. Unscathed, the attack, trying to bring it right back in. Barlow, nifty play, chips it around, takes a shot, he scores! Oh, that was slick. Colby Barlow gets the attack on the board. He coughs it up. Now Stewart nearly coughs it up. A little sloppy through the neutral zone, no doubt about it. Here is Nolan Seed, the D-man, taking a look. Hookie takes a shot, rebound, Stewart scores! Back to back, just like that, this game is tied. And Teddy Sawyer has to twist and turn, had Firebirds on both sides. Bertucci's shot, hit his own man. 3.5 to go in the third, in tight is Hayes, he scores! Gavin Hayes, late in the third, puts the Firebirds up by 1. 48 seconds to go, the Firebirds up 3-2. Attack win the faceoff, it's out to the point, Sam Sedley for Denny Gore, tough play for him, banked off the wall. Kressler looking towards the empty net, nice drag move, he's in all alone, and Kressler will put it into the yawning cage. 37 seconds to go, and the Firebirds will go up 4-2.
We don't know who the first star of the game is yet, but in consideration has to be number 31, Nathan Day, who played outstanding for the Flint Firebirds, stopping 30 of 32 shots.
For the second game in a row, the comeback falls short for the Owen Sound attack, a 4-2 loss versus the Flint Firebirds. Guys, first, when did you find out that Carter was back in Owen Sound and starting Saturday night?
Yeah, just kind of after Corbin wasn't feeling great. We just kind of figured that he'd come join us, and just came up Saturday morning, and yeah, he's been good for us.
This is his 5th OHL game. He gets his first loss. What were his spirits like after the game?
He was pretty down. Like he's a competitive kid. Like even today at Breakfast Club, he was the last guy to leave. He was stretching. He was making sure his body was right. And yesterday we did a little skills game and some 4-on-4 and some 3-on-3, and his team happened to lose. And even though it was just practice, you could tell the defeat in his face and that he wanted to win so bad. So he's a competitive kid and he's a fighter. He doesn't want to lose.
Now, one last question about Carter George. Matthew, you've been in 3 different organizations. You've seen a ton of goalies. Ethan, you've been here with the Ataxi and Matt Guzda. Does he remind you of any other goalie, Carter that is, of any other goalie you've seen? His work ethic at such a young age, he's already such a promising talent.
For me, in my first full season, Nico Dawes, and him especially, he was a little out of shape his past couple of seasons, and he wasn't really the greatest goalie, but he dialed in and he wanted to be the best and he wanted to be good, and he came into that season in phenomenal shape, and he was probably the best goalie in the league, and he didn't stop, even though he backed up a championship team and he was backing up for the past 2 seasons. He wanted to come in and better his game, and that's the same as Carter. Carter wants to win. They're competitors, and they just want to win for the team.
We'll get Ethan's answer on the other side. Break. Have to go to a quick commercial. You're watching Attack Wrap here on.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Calling all journalism students, Omni Television is once again awarding scholarships to qualified students pursuing a career in third language journalism.
When I found out that I won an Omni scholarship, I honestly wasn't expecting it. Winning an Omni scholarship helped me realize that I chose the right career path by pursuing third language journalism.
Omni is home to a variety of locally produced current affairs programs and daily national newscasts, broadcast in 6 languages. To learn more about Omni scholarships, visit omnitv.ca/scholarships.
Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be the name. When it seems I can't be found, just turn around. I'm in shouting ground.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures.
Tune in on Fridays at 5 to watch Night Hockey. Alessandro Supino here with Night Hockey. Tune in to Rogers TV 5 o'clock on Friday for
Zach Scribner and Adrien Mouseeau joined alongside two forwards for the Owen Sound attack, Matthew Papais and Ethan Burroughs. I want to go back to that Flint game. Just one more question for you, Matthew. I mentioned first time since Flint comes here since the last playoff series. Did you feel a playoff atmosphere, maybe for the first time since your time here in Owen Sound at home Saturday?
Yeah, the past couple games that we played against Flint were intense. They were physical, they were hard. They played us really hard, and we knew before going into the game that there was kind of a rivalry built up from last season, so we were prepared.
Saturday night, you're paired with Landon Hookey and Jackson Stewart. What's that do for your game personally, playing with two very physical players?
Well, I tell them all the time, I feel like I can do anything when you guys are on the ice. So I said, if I get hit, though, you guys got to stand up for me. It's nice because the opponents, they don't like playing against those two guys. Like Landon showed, he comes in, he's physical, he'll fight. Like, it's hard to play against, and Stu, he just runs everybody over that's in sight. So kind of frees up a little bit of space for me to play a little more of a skillful game, but they're great. They're great players and great additions to our team.
Now, we had coaches Greg Walter and Sean Tico on just a few weeks ago, and then on a previous broadcast I had mentioned, and they echoed the sentiment. They think of you as a Swiss Army knife. A few months, maybe earlier on in the month, you centered the fourth line with Ben Comier and Antonio Terracini. Then you're on the third line center. Then you could be on the first line left wing, or you could play right wing. You can basically play all 12 forward positions and be a valuable asset at that. It's not everybody can do it. Do you take pride in being able to be such a chameleon out there?
Yeah, I enjoy it. Even last season, I played probably 10 games for Guelph on defense, so I can do it all.
Yeah.
But, no, it's nice even to switch it up sometimes on the ice, playing the wing, playing center. It's a different game, I feel like, in those different positions. So it's nice to be able to do it all and having the coaches trust you in those positions.
Everybody's favorite time on a Tuesday?
I think it's that time. I think it's time for What's in the Helmet. Now, Matthew, you've never had an episode of Attack Rap, so you might not know what this game is, but it's everybody's favorite game show in Grey County on a Tuesday, voted by me and only me. So what happens is there's questions inside this helmet. I'm going to pull it out, and then you give me the first thing that comes to your head. Okay? Cool. So then, because he's the OA, he goes second. You first.
Like one word answer type thing?
Yeah, basically. First thing that comes to your head.
Yeah,
okay? You'll see. It's pretty easy. Ethan will start us off here with this question. Which member of the team takes the longest to respond to their phone?
Depends. Some guys can take a while. Sometimes Cedar just doesn't text me back for a while, so I'll say him.
Do I gotta answer?
Yeah. So now it's your turn.
I'll say Kobe. He's a bit of a big shot, so he's a lot of people to answer to. So I feel like he just kind of puts me aside when I'm Snapchatting him. But it's all cool. There's no hard feelings there.
That's funny. Which member of the team is on their phone the most?
Sam Sedley, I think. Yes, yeah, I always see that guy on his phone on Snapchat all the time. So
I don't even know. We're not allowed our phones in the locker room.
Bad,
yeah.
So I'll go with Ricky. He's a big Sudoku guy. Like, I don't even know what he's really doing. Every time I look over, he's playing Sudoku. No matter, we were at the Super Bowl party, and I was sitting behind him, and half the time he's playing Sudoku. So I'll have to say
Not a big football guy either.
Goalies, eh? What can you do? All right. We usually keep this one for last, but who's your celebrity crush?
Megan Fox. That's been my classic for a while, so I'm just gonna stick with
last
it.
Year.
I don't know. I don't got one. I kind of thought of that today, actually, before I came in. I was like, they're probably going to ask me that. I still didn't come up with an answer, but I don't know. I guess I'll go with Megan Fox.
All right.
The classic.
That's classic. Okay. Player you wouldn't want to be stuck in a car with for more than 2 hours. Just you and him.
Yeah, probably Schaefer. That guy's been wild lately. That guy's been wild lately.
For me, Steiner, honestly.
Pre-game routine.
Oh, a lot to it. Just kind of lots of stretching, get a little nap in the morning. Just lots of stretching, getting warmed up, a little stick handling, kind of all that.
Sleeping, napping, stretching, a little bit of pre-workout.
Who's the worst sewer player on the team?
I think.
For the people at home that don't know, sewer is a game that they play as they warm up. It's a soccer game because hockey players can do everything, so they play soccer before they go and play their actual game.
I would say Chenard or Hookie. Hookie's been pretty bad.
Say Chenard, I always kind of try and get him out first. So, I think it's just funny to see the way he handles the ball. I try and give it to him as much as I can.
It's pretty funny that you guys say those two people because usually the taller you are, the least coordinated you are, so it kind of makes sense. Do you have any more?
Best style on the team.
Oh yeah, best style, yeah.
I'm gonna go with Teddy for his off not non-game days, but Terracini. He's got some sweet suits.
Yeah, it's a pretty good answer there. Yeah, Teddy does got good style. He's wearing a nice Montclair sweater that I complimented him on today. So I'll have to go with him with the streetwear as well. And yeah, Tony, I pick him up for every game, and this guy's got a new suit for every game, and I got the same dress pants, the same dress shirt, the same shoes, and he's just outdoing me every day, so I gotta give it to the kid.
Just wait till he's in his OA season, he's gonna have suits galore, one for all 68 games.
This goes back to when you and I did an interview when you were with Halton. Who's a player you try to model your game after?
I think Jonathan Marchessault on Vegas. Cedar kind of brought that one up to me 2 years ago, pretty much, and he kind of said that I play pretty similar to him, and just kind of try to play him a bit.
Kind of just try and be me and be creative.
People try to model their game after Matthew Papais.
I wouldn't say so. I see a couple kids in the stands say you got nice hands, so maybe.
I see a little bit of Yanni Gord in you.
Yeah. The boys were saying that.
Yeah.
The boys were saying that.
And finally, favorite genre of music or favorite artist?
And if you don't say Drake, you're probably getting kicked off the show by Zach.
I like everything. Country's probably my favorite, and right now Zach Bryan's been my top
something
guy.
Something in the orange right there. That's a bang.
Me personally, probably rap, but I've never had a favorite artist just because I feel like I go through phases. For 2 weeks, I'll love one guy, and then probably won't like listening to him anymore. I'm just sick of him because I've got him on repeat. So I can't really give you an honest answer.
Last question for What's in the Helmet. It's on the same topic. One artist you would love to see live. Zach, you can start us off.
One artist I'd love to see live that I haven't seen. Oh boy. Go to them first. I have to think about this.
Morgan Wallen or Zach Bryan. One of those two guys I feel like would be pretty cool to see.
Probably Drake, honestly, just because he's got that huge following and he puts on a pretty good show with some pretty cool guests, I heard. So I feel like you're getting a mix of everything when you're up there.
I can guarantee you get that. It was going to be Lil Wayne for me, but I saw him at OVO Fest, so it's going to be Big Sean, one of the only people I haven't seen. So.
And for myself, I'm going to see Morgan Wallen this summer, so then I'm going to say Alan Jackson. He would be sweet to see.
He would be sick.
Another edition. What's in the Helmet on a Tuesday night. Let's get back to some hockey talk, though. This week, you mentioned it earlier, Burr, one game versus Saginaw. What are you guys, first off, what are you just working on in practice this week to prepare for Saginaw?
I think just working on the normal stuff, the normal systems. We obviously know that this could be a potential playoff matchup, and I think just working on everything all around, and just kind of, we got a long week of practice here, so it'll be good to just get lots of touches.
Do you hate a long week of practice, Matt?
Usually, but so far it's been pretty good.
Pretty good, and then you get one of your former teams' family day against the Guelph Store.
Yeah, it's always fun playing against them.
So like I mentioned, usually you guys have 2 to 3 games per week. Do you find this just throws off the rhythm of the team a little bit? Maybe you come out in previous times when you only play 1 game a week, just have a slower start to the first period.
Obviously it's a bit different. You're used to playing 2-3 games a week and just having this long of practice. I think if we just work hard in practice, I think it'll translate to that first period, and I think we'll be fine.
So just a message to the fans that that are watching today. Saturday's game will be in honor of hockey for hospice. So the Attack will be wearing some pretty cool jerseys that don the names of members of the community that had have passed away to cancer and used the Chapman House here in Owen Sound as their last resting place. So it's going to be a great game. A lot of fun activities at the game on Saturday night, including Chuck a Puck, a silent auction. You can bid on the jerseys. They're already on auction right now. You go to the Attack website for that. Now, guys, we've seen on social media that you guys have been going to Chapman House. I'm not sure if any of you two have gone, but I know I've seen a couple of the guys there. Have you guys gone to the Chapman House so far for visits?
No, we haven't.
Have you talked to any of the guys that have?
Yeah, they were bragging about all the pups.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool pups there. I'm not sure if you guys have ever been affected by anybody in your family having cancer or hospice, but itself. But Ray McKelvey and Georgina McKelvey, their names will be on your jerseys on Saturday night. So knowing that and knowing all the people that you're playing for, does this game have any more value to it?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I've been affected by cancer. I feel like it's kind of everyone kind of has been, and it's obviously tough, but yeah, definitely it's a special game.
Matthew, so I was interested to hear you drive Tony out to the game. With it being your last year in the league, what are some messages you have just for the rookies on this team? Usually you hear that the OHL goes by so quickly, so what messages do you have for some of the rookies?
I feel like as a rookie, especially coming onto our team, you see Colby and the success that he had, and you kind of have the same expectations, but realistically, there's only very few people that can do that, and your 16, 17-year-old year, if you're on a good team, you're probably not going to play that much. You're just going to need to develop and get more mature. So I just tell them, like, I've been there, majority of our team has been there, and just prove yourself every day in practice and focus on getting better and show everyone what you're made of and keep going, and before you know it, you'll be at the top of the lineup.
That's a great answer, honestly. Yeah. I'm just like, I had a question in my head, and then I was just listening to your answer. That is, if they can take anything from you, it should be exactly that. Like, take each day in stride, and I'm sure you would say right now your junior career passed by like that.
You know, everyone says it. All the vets would always say it my first year. It goes by like this, and I said, nah. Here I am today, and few games out for my last regular game season.
Now, I want you to enjoy the last 18 games and what is to the playoffs, but have you been thinking of what's next for Matthew Papais in his hockey career?
Of course. Kind of weighing out my options, but I'm kind of just trying to stay focused in the moment and hopefully helping to take this team to a championship. So just been dialed in and just living every day, each day by day, and kind of figuring that out when the season's over.
I like that answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And with good answers like that, there's only one thing that means. Class is in session, guys. So you guys have whiteboards behind you. So we're going to have a little spelling bee to start, and then we're going to do a little quiz right after that.
Okay.
All right. So the first, I'm going to go easiest to hardest. First, and it's just going to be last names.
Okay.
First one is seed. Show the camera. Okay, 1 for 1. That was good. Next one, we're gonna go with Chenard. Correct. We're gonna stick in that French theme, and we're gonna go Guindon. I hate to be a stickler on this one, but it's a name, so it takes a capital letter.
Did you put a capital?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'll give it both of you. Yeah, you guys. I'm easy. It's a Tuesday night. It's all good. Petrovsky.
Which one?
Just think.
Just do Servac.
I don't know how to write the other one's name. No, I'm just kidding.
What are you doing?
Keep on with James.
Hey, they both get love tonight. They're both right. And then the last one that we're gonna do is going to be Teresini. That's it. That's the hard one.
Oh my God.
I'm getting this one wrong for sure. Yeah, that ain't it. Oh, I got it. Nope. No, I got mine wrong, so. Teresini.
Tersigny.
Yeah.
There is no I after the. Everybody says Teresini, but there's no I.
Like that?
Yeah. No I there.
Teresini.
Really?
Tersigny.
Oh. Start going.
4 out of 5 ain't bad for the spelling bee. That's 80%. I'll take that every day. That's an A-.
Here's the good part of the quiz now.
Now we're gonna head to the quiz, okay? So, you guys both were members of OJHL teams before coming to the Owen Sound Attack. Who did the other play for?
Do we write it or we answer?
Yeah, right.
George. Oh. I spelled Georgetown, right?
Correct. Georgetown Raiders and the Brantford 99ers. All right. In your minor midget season, or your U16 season now, I should be politically correct. U16 season, how many points did the other person get?
You're in second round, right?
Yeah.
He played 33 games.
How about you?
32, I think, or 31.
Played 31.
You're okay.
Going in depth here, guys. I love it. That's pretty close. So, I'll start with Matthew. Played 33 games, had 12 goals and 16 assists for 28 points. And then Ethan had 30 goals, 19 assists for 49 points. Very close though.
No,
That's very good.
Forgot you weren't in the G. He boosted a bit.
Who'd you play for?
Mississauga Reps, right?
Yeah.
Any memories of your? I know you went on a run, right, for the OHL Cup, and you played. It says on here 4 games in the OHL Cup. Do you guys remember that minor midget season and that those tournaments, and what do you remember from that?
I think it was just a cool experience. Obviously, kind of that last tournament style, true tournament style. Obviously, the Mem Cup. I think it's just a lot of fun. Like, I grew up with a great group of teammates and kind of stuck with the same group of guys, and just to see all those like top end players, minor hockey players, and where they are today is pretty cool.
And for me, I mean, I played with, I don't know, there's probably 8 or 9 of us that went to the OHL, and probably the most recognizable name would be Owen Power. And I played with him for 4 years, so it was kind of cool to build a relationship with him and see how far he's gone. To go first overall to the NHL is pretty special, and to say that I played with him for 4 years, so pretty cool.
That's really cool. So now we're gonna go to your OHL stats. How many points does the other one have in the OHL currently to this current day? So Matthew has total. Matthew's played 177 games in the O.
Did you just hit 100? I can't. No.
Kind of recently.
And then 170. Who's that? Sorry. And then Ethan, you played 171 games. Wow. So Ethan, Matthew has 82 points. That's
close.
Pretty close. And Ethan has 114 points.
Oh, pretty close.
So both pretty close. And now we're going to finish it off, this quiz, with how many penalty minutes did Coach Walters have in his biggest penalty minute season on Elite Prospects?
OHL or like just total?
No, in his professional career.
Say 320.
I'm going to say like 300.
I got to go get this again because it is a staggering number. Zach, why don't you ask them their next question and I'll go get the exact number, 300 and 320. That, Greg.
Ethan, just for you, next year, the possibility of 5 players returning as overage guys. Have you thought about that very much next year? That maybe a bit of a tryout next year. Dale can only keep 4 and 3 after the trade deadline. Does that go through your head very much towards the end of this season?
A little bit here and there. Sometimes I forget that I'm a 4th-year player now, and obviously I don't want to think about it too much. I don't want to think about it too much. Just kind of focused on right now and with this team and the group that we have.
So the number for Coach Walters, you guys had 320. This is, you guys were over, but it's still a lot of, in the IHL he had 254 PIMs, only 11 points. And then in the AHL the very next season he had 247.
Wow.
So yeah, he spent some time in the penalty box.
Just want to throw, we only have a few minutes left. Let's go to Saturday night. Mark McKelvey was standing alongside Jordan Hill for a post-game interview.
You guys put this down. Yeah.
Mark McKelvey standing by post-game following the Attack's 4-2 loss to the Flint Firebirds, joined by associate coach Jordan Hill. And coach, a couple of games back-to-back, hard fought, but you come up just short. I know it's probably not easy to see it right now, but are these the kind of games that are going to be learning experiences for your group going forward?
Yeah, no question. Obviously tonight was a tough one to swallow. I thought we deserved better, but that's the game of hockey. Obviously we didn't do our job in the third period, and they came away with a win.
Was the disallowed goal that got called back for an offside, was that a factor in maybe what we saw in the third period?
I don't think so. Obviously that's deflating, no question. You get excited for something, a huge goal obviously in that time, but we just got to be better locking it down in the last 5 minutes. Like obviously you went wrong. There was a D-zone breakdown that just can't happen.
Now looking at these couple of games, though, as mentioned, one against an Eastern Conference opponent, another against a team that's quickly become a bit of a rival based on what we saw in last year's playoffs. What do you think the team's mentality was coming into this game after the loss on Friday night? Was it pretty easy for the boys to get up for this game against the Firebirds?
Yeah, it was an entertaining game. Both teams obviously worked hard and had their moments to win the game, but yeah, it didn't go our way obviously last night. I thought we played well last night to win as well. A few defensive lapses or goals we wanted back last night, and that wasn't the case tonight, but at the end of the day, 4 points missed, and that's not good for us at the moment. We're going to have to turn things around heading into Saginaw and Guelph next week.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the points that you're unable to pick up in the standings, but how closely, I know we've talked about many times throughout the season how much attention you're paying to the standings, but it seems right now we're getting a lot of what could be first-round matchups. There's still a lot of potential opponents out there, and you got to get the job done, but how much are you looking and really starting to study these teams that are real close to you in the standings?
Yeah, pretty heavily. I won't lie to you. We're starting to build our database now of obviously teams we're facing, collecting data as we play them each game, obviously our pre-scouts, so every game's important. This is a huge matchup obviously against Flint. That's potentially a first-round opponent, so disappointed right now, but like you said, learning opportunity for our group.
So 1 week off before the Saginaw Spirit come into town. How do you feel about having that much time? Obviously, it's a lot of time to prepare and also let guys heal up, but at the end of the day, it seems this team at times this year, when they get into a rhythm, it's almost like you don't want a day off.
Yeah, no question. Obviously, we're a streaky group right now, a couple wins in a row, a couple losses in a row, something we're going to have to figure out heading into playoffs, but yeah, definitely a tough opponent in Saginaw. We had a lot of hockey in January and February, so the long weeks sometimes isn't a bad thing.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't just touch upon netminder Carter George getting called up again to start here tonight. Taste defeat for the first time in his career. He wasn't going to go undefeated, but what did you think of his performance getting called up here?
Very good. Yeah, he's a guy we all get excited to play in front of. He's got some swagger to him. He's got some confidence to him that the guys love. He plays the puck very well. He's steady back there. He's got a very bright future, and he did a great job tonight.
All right, well, thank you very much for this, and we wish you the best of luck coming up on Saturday against the Spirit.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, as mentioned, it'll be 7:30 puck drop Saturday night when the Attack hosts Saginaw.
Big thank you to Mark McKelvey and Jordan Hill standing alongside a post-game interview there following Saturday night's loss to the Flint Firebirds. We'll now pull up the upcoming schedule for the Owen Sound Attack. I know you guys are focused on next Saturday, or this coming Saturday, I should say, versus the Saginaw Spirit, but taking a look after Saturday, 4 games, 4 Midwest Division opponents. Let's start with Monday. We mentioned it earlier on, Matthew. You get the Family Day game against Guelph. What's that like for yourself, Ethan, just having family in the building, and it's an afternoon game, so kind of nice to get home a little bit earlier here after a game against Guelph Storm?
Yeah, it's definitely cool. I'm fortunate enough to have lots of family at most of my close games to home, so but just to have that Family Day game, that 2 o'clock game, it's cool.
Home Wednesday night versus the Erie Otters. The last time you two met, you had the overtime game-winning goal, and it's been a heated rivalry so far. What do you guys expect from the Erie Otters this time playing at home Wednesday night?
I expect a physical battle. They're a physical team. They play hard. They play hard against us every single night, and they're another team with some young skills. So can't take any team lightly, and we got to go in and start on time and be ready for them.
Busy week continues Friday night. You go down to the Odd. Kitchener's a team that's stacked, loaded up at the deadline, but they're struggling as of now, just 8th place. But that's a team that you can't take lightly, especially on a Friday night at the Odd.
Yeah, definitely not. They're a super skilled team. They got some dangerous players on their team, and obviously they're not doing great right now. They're in 8th, but you never know when they can just start heating up, so you got to take them definitely very seriously.
And finally, you guys finish off a very busy week with an opportunity to have a revenge game against the London Knights, this time at home at the Bay Shore. Matthew, what's it going to take to beat arguably one of the league's best teams in the London Knights?
Like just another common thing that I've been saying, just starting on time and playing a full 60 minutes against them and not taking our foot off the gas.
I just want to thank the both of you for joining us. Only about 15 seconds. I want to see that championship here in Owen Sound this year, but all jokes aside, best of luck this year, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew Papais and Ethan Burroughs of the Owen Sound Attack. Next week, we'll be joined alongside Cedric Guindeau and Denny Gore. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to another edition of Attack Wrap here on Rogers TV.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
My husband is a wonderful man and a great father when he's not drinking. I'm so angry he chooses alcohol over us. If he really loved us, he'd stop drinking, right? My counselor suggested I try Al-Anon. I didn't understand why. I'm not the one with the problem, but I'm glad I went. Do you worry about someone's drinking? You are not alone. Al-Anon or Alateen can help. Call 866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.